Donald Trump, I think it's fair to say.
Oh, you picked that up, did you, actually? He's a mortal enemy of the American Constitution, for a start. Sadiq Khan is quite right in that there is a battle going on, defined, actually, by Viktor Orban, one of Donald Trump's many authoritarian good chums, as to whether or not things like, the independence of the press, the status of truth. Donald Trump has succeeded in turning truth into what he calls fake news, colonizing. He believes that the Justice Department in America, for example, should essentially be loyal to him rather than serve the people of the United States. He doesn't believe in the separation of powers, essentially. So that's why he feels able to stop members of his own administration from respecting congressional subpoenas. This may be obscure, but Sadiq is right. You're either with the values of the independence of a legislature or you're not. And he's really basically, an American Bonapartist, practically. There's a bad smell over London this morning, Adam.
But he is nonetheless the President of the United States, as he sees it, our closest ally. Obama came here on a state visit, George W. Bush came here on a state visit. Are you saying this invitation shouldn't have been extended?
No, I think it's sort of morally compromising. I know that state visits have been extended to gangsters, criminals and buffoons before, actually, but there's no reason to add another one. The pragmatic reason for doing it is, trade agreement, trade agreement, trade agreement. Jeremy Hunt should read the American Constitution. The Constitution reserves the right to Congress to confirm all trade agreements. There's something called as a provisional authority delegated to the President for national security, but that actually expired in 2007. So any trade agreement would actually have to go through both the House of Representatives and the Senate. And the House of Representatives will not for a minute, in the case of a no deal, be cool about ignoring the backstop. The House of Representatives will absolutely stand fast, as the EU does. So you think on the Irish issue, this is a pointless occasion.
You think there is possible for the UK, given its position in the world, given the possibility that we're leaving the European Union, going to be on our own, surely we do need to be friendly with the Americans?
Well, it's, what we're doing is actually trying to be friendly with the hyena, basically. Of course Donald Trump wants a no-deal Brexit because he's ready to pounce. They're ready to pounce in terms of destroying the agricultural sector of the United Kingdom, all those regulations and high standards, not even talking about chlorinated chicken, but genetically modified foods. All those things, barriers will come down. So the National Health Service, as Woody Johnson, the owner of the most pathetically incompetent football team in the United States, by the way, New York Jets, so much for his business acumen, but he made absolutely clear yesterday that, as he put it, everything would be on the table. That's a dissecting table. So of course, it's a classic example of Brexit myopia. Naturally, they want to be friends with the pathetically defenseless creature that we will be, the better to devour us. Does nobody read Aesop's fables?
Now,
you do, Adam.
I do want to ask you about your book, Word.
Oh, we were having such a good time.
Yeah, well, no. I wanted to ask you, with reference, this is about your love of words, the importance of words. What about Donald Trump's use of language? Yes,
well, you could say, actually, that in terms of, if he'd written that book of Tweety or Ranty or Ravy or something like that, actually, the way in which he's totally destroyed even a modicum of competence of the English language. If you're Cicero, and you are, Adam, the nearest thing we have. if you're Cicero, you know that something rotten is going on with the moral and ethical constitution of the person who does a job.
Bigley, what do you think of the word Bigley?
Bigley, well, it describes him, really. Actually, he is President Bigley, basically, in the sense in which nothing matters to Donald Trump. He's not a monster, he's not a fascist, he's an egomaniac. Essentially, this whole occasion is one vast official, basically fluffing exercise. That's what it is.
And you have said that you think he's too lazy to be a long-term threat, so you're not that bothered.
Yeah, but there are others around who work very hard. His hideous speechwriter, Stephen Miller, the appalling Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, the half-lunatic John Bolton, As usual, I'm understating things, as is my wont, Adam.
But do you actually think that it is that serious?
I think actually, I do think no. I think it's not a joke. I think it's not a joke.
For example, he was.
Oh, Ronald Reagan looks like a combination of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln compared to this one. No, I think where he is actually, we are living at a time when alliances, whether it's NATO or whether it's a Paris Climate Accord, kind of semi-alliance, have stood us in good stead. You know, the world is a very dangerous kind of condition. And Donald Trump mistakes what he thinks of as a kind of charismatic meeting, his relationship with Kim Jong-un being a very case in point, for success, for actually coming to an understanding. What has happened in both the case of Iran, one approach, and in the case of North Korea, is to give it a green light for the incredible acceleration of nuclear armament. So his worst effect is to disintegrate understanding and alliances.
There is an argument, as you know, abroad, which says that in the end, if you look at Pompeo, actually this is fairly traditional American conservative foreign policy. It's not really smashing the mould in that sense.
You and I have heard of Harry Truman and Franklin Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson. Of course it's not. Isolationism has been the, you know, if you're looking at the 19th century, sure, but the great glory of America's involvement in the world has been precisely the opposite. That since Roosevelt and since Truman, since the Marshall Plan, America and Jack Kennedy and the Berlin Airlift, and you can go on and on and on, wearing a, you know, history professor. America's glory has been to accept responsibility for sort of conducting the defense of the free world and trying to ensure its peace. Of course, America has fallen into various kinds of catastrophes. Vietnam was the most egregious, Iraq another one. But you could know that actually you had the feeling with other departments of state, other generations, that they had the interests of the global community at stake, and this one doesn't.
So, I mean, analogies are always difficult, but you are a historian. The lessons from history, what period would you draw an analogy with now?